the top part. And remember that the video, it said that oxidative stress, it gets lowered 40% in 30 days. And one of the things that I love to use, I'm a visual learner, so for me, I do visual things because that's how I retain my learning. So, anybody shoot out some diseases?
That's right.
Names of some of the diseases? Diabetes, okay. Anything else?
Hepatitis C.
All right. Anything? Alzheimer's, okay.
Dementia.
Heart, cancer,
Inflammation, arthritis.
inflammation, arthritis, fibro. Okay, and we can go on and on. And, I can put on there influenza and allergies and asthma and all kinds of things. But when you look at this, and then you see down here that oxidative stress, it comes from here. So this would be the root cause of many of the diseases. That's a big deal. And when we saw that, when we saw the oxidative stress, one of the things that it does, it damages. When you start, when your DNA, it starts getting damaged. When you have oxidative stress, it damages it, and it goes in, and what the oxidative stress, the protandum will come in, and it will go into the cellular level, and so it'll start changing some of that. But we can't claim that it's going to cure, we can't claim that it's going to heal, and we can't claim that it's going to prevent anything. But if I was to take a Ziploc bag and put food in it and zip it up, is that going to make the food taste better? No. It's not going to make it taste better, but it's going to help preserve. And so that's how I look at the protandum, that it's going to help, and it's going to help you, it's going to help preserve your body. And the nerve 2 activator, if you look on the sheet on the right side, it's got the nerve 2 activator. And what that actually is doing is it's coming in and it's waking your body up. It's waking those body parts, the functioning of it, and it's making it work. So the protandum, we look at it, and it was sold in the stores, in the GNC stores, and they took it out because people didn't know, they didn't really know anything about it. So when people would go on and they'd look on the shelf of the GNC stores, the people didn't know there was, one price on one thing and another price on another. And because protandum was a little more than the other thing, they're going to take the one. And so they were only selling a half a bottle, I believe, a month of protandum. So they brought it off the shelves and they came in and they gave it, they want people to just, they want people to share it like we are. Because you're going to get a lot more information of how we're sharing. So if you want to know more, though, about the product part, this is what, okay, stay up here, board. But if you, it won't smack you. Let's just see how close you were. But if you want to know more about the product, the best thing to do is to go on to PubMed.gov and do some homework. That's what I thought I was going to do before. Okay, PubMed.gov. So write that down, and when you go on to PubMed.gov, you're going to see, and there's a search engine. What PubMed.gov is you can go on there. We pay, our taxes pay for this. Doctors go on it, and that's how they can tell like certain drugs and certain things, and they do researching on that you will be able to see. But you can go on to PubMed and you type in the word oxidative stress. Okay, and then you can see from that, you'll be able to see that oxidative stress you'll be able to see the different, how many things. So there's 106,000 plus studies already on oxidative stress. They only place 10 to 15% on that. And your next thing you can do is your oxidative stress, and then place your disease. Say, like asthma. Okay, you can put asthma down, and you can see on there, there's a number on there that you can see, and that number will show you that that is some of the studies that are coming up. And also you can, so when you're done with that, put in the word protandem. There you're going to see the research that has been taking place. And there's 14 studies right now. And there's more in the works right now also. So those are some of the things, and it's always good to do your own homework. Don't take my word for it, but go onto these government, go onto the sites and do some homework yourself. But there are three products that help reduce oxidative stress. And we have the Protandem in the bottle, the tablet. We've got the True Science, and that's the lotion. And then also we have a new, canine product. A lot of people, I was given the Protandem to my horse and to the dog. And the one dog absolutely loves this. So, and they've added a lot of in there too for the joints. But with the new canine, the thing about the canine also is that last year alone, the pet owners spent $1.26 billion just on supplements. That's a lot of money, guys. So, you look at that and you think, how many of those products with a double-blind placebo multi-site study were there? Okay, and then another thing is, how many of them, it was their first proven and patented Nerf2 inducers. And you can look that up too and see if you see any other in there that have them like that. So, I look at that and I say, imagine if your company gained only 1% of that market share. That's a big deal. So, I have a lot of testimonies too on people, but I have a lot of testimonies on animals, on the dogs, cats, and horses, if anybody wants to hear any or they want to receive any of those. But right now, Teresa's going to come up and then share the True Science.
I just wanted to, thank you, Lori. I just wanted to share a little bit about one of our products, the True Science, the skincare. I'm a skincare specialist. I'm an esthetician. And I had an opportunity to get into this business just like you have. We had a couple of Plan A's and Plan B's, like Jim mentioned, and one of the reasons we were interested in the company is we saw that there was timing. There are products that are being offered here with this company that tend to be in real need right now, especially with just some of the testimonials that Tom just gave. I mean, that's amazing. But there's another factor involved, which I think a lot of us are faced with. There's a lot of us in situations physically, but there's situations monetarily. There's a lot of people who are sick monetarily right now in this country. And we were in real estate. That was our Plan B. So this is our Plan C. And one of the things that I really liked about the product line was that we did have a skincare product. I'm involved in skincare. So, and most of us in this room, I would say, most of us are baby boomers. So that's 55 and older. And we capture 1/3 of the market. We are responsible for spending 1/3 of this discretionary income that comes in. So I think that when you think about health and you think about nutrition and then you think about money, it's a perfect time for people our age to possibly look at something like this. And people who aren't 55 or older, you still are aging, So that's what I like about it too, is that we're all aging. We age internally and we age externally, intrinsic and extrinsic. And when you take the product internally, you're helping your organs, you're helping everything to fight free radicals internally. When you put the product on extrinsically, on your excretory, or on your skin, let's just leave it at that, on your skin, you are protecting your skin from free radical damage. I recommend all my clients to use it, not only a sunscreen, but to use this, because this actually fights free radicals from a topical standpoint. Our skin is our largest organ, so that was another reason they decided to consider true science. There's an LSU study on skincare and how it stopped the link, or broke the link in stage 2 carcinoma, so of the skin. Stage 2 carcinogenesis, that's it. My husband said it first. He's good at that. Carcinogenesis, okay? But another thing, like Lori mentioned too, which I think is pretty cool about the pet product that we have now, is that 62% of all households have a pet, okay? 72.9 million homes own a pet. 72.9 million homes own a pet. So I think that the timing again, where they just came out with this pet product, I think the company's kind of onto something here. I think they're really looking down the road and saying, wow, people are interested in health, they're interested in staying young, they're interested in helping their pets. And there's 78.2 million dogs in the I guess in the world. That's probably the world figure there, but it was 78.2 million dogs. That's a lot of dogs. So I just wanted to share that with you.
So why do we have a doctor talking about the business opportunity? That's a good question. Because as amazing as this product is, I think the business opportunity is bigger. When I first got involved, I thought this was a once-in-a-lifetime product associated with a really good compensation plan. Now I truly believe, after what I've experienced, that it's a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity associated with a product that this planet has never seen before. Lori and Teresa touched on a couple of things. Nerf 2. When you go on there, it's NRF2. You can put that in on PubMed and oxidative stress. And Teresa talked about LSU breaking the link. You're going to see the American Heart Association has got a paper on there as well. That's what Tom was talking about. He had a defibrillator and a pacemaker in his chest. That's not a little problem. It's a big problem, okay? It's no longer a big problem for him. We say that we don't treat, mitigate, diagnose, or diagnose any diseases with this product because it's a nutraceutical. So let me tell you what that's about. ABC Primetime Investigative Report. Lori talked about that. So do you think that if ABC did a Primetime Investigative Report on your business and it turned out good, that might have a positive financial impact on your business?
Yes.
That's a big deal, right? Okay. So I've got just some little notes here that I'll glance down from time to time because I want to keep this moving along. But the girls talked about the product. They talked about timing, right? And they talked about trends, anti-aging, wellness, animals, okay? But there's a component here on the timing that people hear about, MLM, a direct sales company. Lori said, well, it was on the shelves of GNC, and that's true. So how did it get into this medium? Well, Dr. McCord found out he was losing about $1 million a year, and he had this revolutionary breakthrough scientific achievement, and he couldn't get people to find out about it. So he actually called David Brown, who was the president of our company, who had been with companies like MetaLife, Herbalife, and he brought a team of people to talk to Dr. McCord. And he said, listen, board of directors, Dr. McCord, we have to put this in a direct sales medium. They said, no way. He said, way. They said, why? They said, well, look, you're losing $1 million a year. This is the short story. Give us the opportunity to run a pilot. He said, long story short, 3 months back and forth, yes, they got the pilot. They went from losing $1 million a year to $12 million the first year in the pilot, 39 point in the second year in the pilot, 126 million the third year. It's a 300% growth. Okay, that's a big deal. Our company then became NASDAQ. It's a publicly traded company. It's completely transparent. But the world was so interested in Wall Street about what we were doing that they actually listed us on NASDAQ. Now that's a big deal, because now you're with the big boys on NASDAQ, right? And very scrutinized, right? So you can't say anything that isn't true. The SEC will come in and close you down, right? So you can't purport for it to do things that it doesn't do. Here's the beauty. We don't say it does anything. If you had the U.S. government website, the largest repository in the world for clinical research, that had 14 peer-reviewed studies on your product, you think that that might be a good thing? You could go there, go, people, go and look at it. I don't have to tell you what it does. They already proved it. Do you know that these guys have to do cell studies on the brain, kidneys, liver, heart, and lungs? Histological studies before, and 7 biochemists and 6 MDs have to sign off on it over a period of time. Millions of dollars, and it could stay in there 3 to 5 years before they publish a report. You can't just write one and put it on there. They won't let you do it. So it's the Supreme Court of medical research. So I think that's a big deal that that's on there. Our product is a synergistic blend of 5 herbs. And why I say it's proprietary now is because it's 1,800 times stronger than the sum total of its parts. So you can eat troughs full of these herbs and it's not going to get that effect. And so, do you think if you had a company that was public, backed by scientifically based data, and you owned all the patents to that product, that you might be in good shape if you had a business model that went along with that? You're starting to get the drift here. This is a big deal. Okay? So how do I know that I'm first? Because I heard about some of these other companies, you know, like, I wish I was in the garage with Bill Gates in 1984 when no one knew what Microsoft was. If you put $1,000 in then, it's worth $10 million today. But I could put $10 million in today, and tomorrow in the market it could be worth $9 million. Why? Everybody else is in first. It doesn't mean Microsoft isn't good. It means I missed the boat. 1984 was the boat leaving, not 2013, right? So what makes us first? Well, the company's only 3 years in a direct sales market. I'm going to tell you scientifically, quote unquote, why we're first. Okay? There's a guy named Peter Drucker. He's on this little thing that you're looking at here. Okay? Peter Drucker invented this S-curve. He was a Harvard graduate, finance and economics. Taught in almost all of the schools of finance and economics across the United States. They teach Peter Drucker's formulation. He said a lot of companies fail in their first 5-10 years. It's called research and development phases, right? And they don't make it out of that phase. But if a company reaches $100 million worth of sales, what did we do last year? 126 million. You enter momentum. And momentum is where 80 to 90% of the money made in a company will be made. That means everybody who gets in at the beginning of momentum, we're first. Isn't that something? Okay? He also says that at the level of about 126,000 or 125,000 distributors worldwide, that we start to get to a point where the guys coming in now are second. We're at about 55 or 60,000 distributors worldwide. In the United States, 1/10 of 1% of the households in the United States. You cut your finger, you go running for a sterile adhesive strip. Yeah, it's called Band-Aid, right? So give me a Band-Aid. Why Band-Aid? They were the first guys. You sneeze, give me a tissue, Kleenex. They were the first guys, right? Is this making sense to you? And so when a product gets branded, they ask for that. Well, this is my opinion, but I think that this product is going to be to health, aging, and wellness, anti-aging and wellness, what penicillin is to bacteria. Okay? Lori touched on it, Dr. McCord talked about it. There's direct supplements, things we take in, go in our body, and then the cell has to absorb it, right? And then there's an indirect. These herbs go in our body, they don't do anything for us nutritionally. They go to the genetic message in our cell, and they activate this thing to produce scavenger enzymes, proteins, okay? And those proteins will go out, and one of those will interact with 1,000,000 of the bad guys, those free radicals, per second, 24/7, for as long as it's in your body. When I saw that, that blew my mind. It meant every other vitamin in my closet was now obsolete. We heard about typewriters and pages, right? They work. Somewhat, but you don't see anybody using them anymore, right? Okay. Antioxidants and vitamins work, but this is the iPhone. Okay? Well, when iPhones first came out, no one knew about them. They tried to sell them. That company almost didn't make it, and now look where they are, right? So these are the comparisons I'm trying to make to you. Is it a big deal? It's more than a big deal, okay? We are pioneers on the cutting edge of a company that has something that nobody else has, that everybody will want. The price point is affordable. We own the patents. What would that be worth if you had to go out and buy a franchise business with that? Unbelievable. And you get a piece of that in your back pocket with this company. And as Jim said, and what about the teamwork? Okay? So I wanted to touch on those things and explain a few other things before I get to the compensation. We've covered the product. We talked about timing and trend. The company is publicly traded, but I've personally met the corporate staff. If you want to know more about it, you go onto LifeVantage.com, go to the right-hand corner, and look at the SEC filings on this company. You see what everybody makes, every little dirty detail, it's all there because there is no dirt. This company is squeaky clean, and they're run by guys that are very ethical. I wanted a publicly traded company that I was going to work within because I didn't want it to go away. I like that the SEC regulates this company because it adds credibility to my hard work. They told me if I did what they did, 36 to 40 months, and I walk away. Walk away in business means what would happen if you didn't go to work tomorrow? Are you going to get paid? Walk away business means your toes get to be in the sand. Now, you can be on the beach and the money still comes in. My wife touched on this. What's your plan B? Do you have a plan B for residual income? In other words, you work from week to week or hour to hour or month to month or commission to commission, and you get paid on that, and then that's gone. In residual income, what you worked on last month, last year, gets to be built on and added to, but the mailbox money still comes. The initial thing never went away. So I'm going to paint a little bit different picture on that. I was a chiropractor for 26 years. I've been into nutrition since 1972. I'm not going to talk about the product very much, but I know a lot about the product. But I also know this. I worked really hard for 26 years, and I'll just take a number, and then I sold my practice because the tail was wagging the dog. I was working 60 hours a week, totally burnt out. My kids were growing up. I was a maniac. My wife says, we got to get out of here. So I said, okay, if you sell the house, I'm 50 and I'm done, I can watch. So we moved, all right? For 5 years, it was in real estate, made a killing. For the next 5 years, it tried to kill me. So, not good. Because she said plan B, now plan C. Let's say, out of that practice, I saved $1,000 a month. Retirement. Okay, that's $12,000 a year. Let's say I worked 40 years. Most people do, right? That's a drag. Now you got $500,000. Put it in the bank. If you find a bank that'll give you 4% interest, what are you going to make? $20,000 to $25,000 a year. This represents 40 years of your life. Okay? My wife and I are Pro 5s in the company. There's 10 levels. At Pro 5, the Pro 5s to Pro 6 range in this company, that's residual income per year made. If I don't go to work, those checks still come every month at equal. We've surpassed that in our first year in this business. So which one, I have to ask you, would you rather do? Work 40 years to put that in the bank, to draw that much interest to do this, but you can't touch it because then you don't get this. Or work once and build a business. Well, I don't have that in the bank, but I still get that every year. That's a pretty good deal. And what was my overhead? No, I'm going to talk about that. But it wasn't this. Okay? So, are you tracking with me on that? You'd have to have $1 million in the bank to make $50,000 a year. Most people work their whole lifetime and they can't put that in the bank. Right? So, and that's only $25,000 a year putting it away in savings. But most people can't save $10,000 a year. They can't do it. It's just the economy the way it is. We're living too close. It's rough out there, right? So that's why I said, why is the doctor talking about the business opportunity? Because as the magnitude of the product, what it is still surpassed by the magnitude of this opportunity. The guys who generated the compensation plan, and now I have to admit, this is not my first rodeo, and I did not want to look at another MLM, and I didn't want to look at another product because I've seen them all, right? 26 years of practice, I thought I saw them all. I didn't know about Nerve 2, okay? We won't name the company. My wife and I were involved in for 8 years, and there's $8 million in escrow in our account that I can't get paid on because it was a binary, and it means I had to balance this side with that side and do not pass go and do not collect $200, and everybody at the top made all the money. But I didn't know about that when I got in. So when I got into this one, you think I asked those questions? You betcha. I sat down with the head guy in Florida that got in 3 years ago, and I interviewed him. I said, you answer my question, you say the right things, I'll come into this company. And if you don't, I won't be able to go back and face my wife and tell her that we're going to go into another company that's a direct sales company, because she'll kick me out of the house after she laughs at me, right? So when I came home, I said, hon, she goes, you better make sure you check this one out, okay? But I did think I checked it out, but I didn't know that industry. I've been a doctor, right? I knew the chiropractic industry. I didn't know the direct sales industry, but I do now. The guys who formulated our compensation plan came from other companies over a period of time, and they have now compared our compensation plan to the top 10 in the industry, and we have the most balanced, most lucrative compensation plan in the industry today because of a couple of things. One of them I'm going to explain to you right now has to do with something called a uni-level. What a uni-level means is you get paid on all of the volume underneath you. Let me talk to you about that, okay? And I'll talk to you about leverage. So, well, how do we do that? My wife and I have enrolled 18 business partners, distributors, and about 22 people who just buy the product, they're customers, okay? That's 40. Those 40 people have gone and got 600 for us. That's why I get that check. I didn't get 600. I didn't go to work. They went to work. But I'm here helping Jim, helping Lori, because some of my guys are out helping me someplace else, and everybody's helping everybody else. Okay? So then they generate this volume underneath you. Those 600 people now generating $30,000, $40,000 a month residual income for me. Okay? So there's 10 levels in the company. Here's a 1, here's a 10. We're right in the middle out of 5. And I'll tell you why that's important later on. How do you get paid in this company? And then how do you get into the company? I'll do it that way, okay? Let's see if I missed anything, because I just tend to go off. I'm doing good. Okay. There's 6 different ways you can get paid, okay? I'm only going to talk about 3. We can ask any questions when this is over. I'll answer any of your questions. But I'm only going to talk about 3. So let's say this fellow that I interviewed came into this company 3 years ago. He brought in 18. We brought in 18. He brought in less preferred customers than we did. He's been doing it 2.5 years longer than me. He was the first guy in Florida. He's got 30,000 people. 18 to 30,000. How did that happen? Duplication. Right? People did what he did, and they brought in more people who did what he did, who did what he did, who did what he did. 6,000 business partners, and in 3 years, he's quit his other job, retired lots of his friends and family from their other jobs, and he's got $1,100,000 in his downline being generated every month. And he's not the top money earner in the company. He's a 9 out of 10s. And we have a compensation plan that pays you on all of the volume. And the compensation plan averages out, although it's 9 levels deep, starts with 1, goes down to 9. Levels are different percentages. If you take the 9 levels, add them and divide it by 9, you get that number. Actually get 4.9. Okay? But there was not, anatomy and physiology I was good at. Math, I can do in my head. This math I can do. Can you do that math? That's a big number. And that's only one way he gets paid. But that's every month, guys. And what of a jump start did he get on me? 2.5 years, and where are we all? First. None of us are second. Nobody in this room is second yet. We're all first. There is a system that you sort of have to follow. The first part's real hard. You show the video. Second part's even harder. Hey, did you watch the video? I want you to talk to my friend, Dr. George. Then I ask them a few questions. They come to a meeting like this, and then they listen to somebody talk to them like that. That's not a real hard system. Did you have to break a sweat? Because when I started this, it wasn't because I was a doctor. I said to them, how did you get what you got? Because in this company, there's life insurance salesmen, there's soccer moms, there's a rodeo clown. A rodeo clown who's a 10. He's not a rodeo clown anymore, is he? No. You get the picture? Ordinary people who got in at an extraordinary time. I wasn't in the garage in 1984 with Bill Gates, but I did not miss this boat. Okay? The second way you get paid is the company has a global pool. Remember I said we were all over the globe? We're in 5 countries right now. Australia, Japan, the United States, Hong Kong, Canada, halfway in Mexico. It depends on the mood of the government. But you can't always bring natural things in there, but they can export whatever they want. So that's another story, right? So here's another form of the compensation. They have a global pool, okay? And they put 4% of the earnings from the company in this global pool per month. Remember 126 million, 4%, cha-ching, that sounds like about $150,000 in each part of the pool per month. And if you're a 7, you get one piece of this, and there's about 47s in the world. And if you're an 8, you get one of the 7, because you're a 7 already, right? So you get a 7 and an 8. I think there's about 20, no, how many, Lori, do you know? Somewhere between 20 and 40. We'll say 30, but there's not a lot, okay? Here's our 9s. They get 3 pieces of the pie, okay? There's 9 of those. And these are the 10s. They get 4 pieces, and I think there's 8 of these. So altogether, there's less than 80 of these elite ranks, and they share in this every month. So I said Teresa and I were a 5 out of the 10. Do you think we want to be a 7 right now? Yeah, 2. Why am I a Beef O'Brady's? I want to be a 7. And guess what happens when I do? Everybody in this room who decides to participate Now you became on my team, whether you were on my team or not. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I like it even better when I'm an 8 and a 9. And the guy who asked me to come here tonight, he's a 9. And he goes to New York and does these things for me. And in Southeast Florida, so when he comes, he says, would you come up here? I said, I'd be glad to. Because we're all on each other's team. Okay? And that's a real good thing to have. So, now let me tell you about the last way that I'm going to talk about the compensation, because it's directly tied to how you get into this company. Okay? Fair enough? And then I'll answer any questions. But let's do this. Now, number one, you can become one of 3 people. You can say, I looked at that and I want to pick the product, but I don't want to work the business. And then I would say to you, are you caring or sharing, or you're selfish? And people say, I'm caring and sharing. I said, wouldn't you share this with somebody else? They say yes. So what are you going to do once you share it to them? Well, they're going to want to get it. You just got yourself in the business. So unless you want to keep it to yourself, you just might be in the business. But you're going to decide, not me. Okay. So you could buy the True Science, you could buy the Pro Tandem, or you could purchase the K9 Health, and these are the preferred customer or wholesale prices. That's what I get it for. Then plus their shipping, so this might come to 82, that might come to 46, and this comes to 31, I think, with shipping, okay? And it costs the same if you get 2 bottles, because the shipping, they don't weigh that much, but you got to charge about $12 or $14, whatever UPS is for the shipping, okay? So you say, okay, I enroll, I get the wholesale price. Okay? What if I want to become a business builder? Well, then you're going to be called a distributor, somebody who's caring and sharing, right? For distribution, you pay $630. But wait a minute, what's my overhead? Well, it's actually going to be nothing, and I'm going to show you why. There's 4 different packages you can pick. You can pick one with samples, you can pick one with the K9 Health, but I'm going to take one with Easy Math. 12 bottles of Pro Tandem, okay? If we said 46, okay? If we said 45 here, what do we got? That's 400, about $500. That's 10, 12. $520, right? Is that what it comes to, Los? Let's say 520, right? You got a bottle over here of this that comes in it. Okay, it's 82. That's roughly, let's say $600. Okay, we just paid $630. You just got $600 worth of product. Plus, you get building materials like the tear-off sheets, and you get a replicated website that if you had to go out and build it, they're telling me about $500,000. But because we share that with 55,000 distributors over the world, the cost just came way down for the company, but we still get it, and it would cost us that if we were going to go do it. It's got a landing page, it's got a back office, you track all of your business. It's really pretty swift, okay? Okay. So you get that, and you get these building materials. So where can you go into business and get all of that other stuff? Costs you next to nothing to get in. Well, I don't know of one. But let's just say I don't need all of that. I don't really need 12 bottles of Pro Tandem. Well, what if you went and sold them? Because if somebody wanted to buy them retail, it's 50 plus shipping. Okay? So if you sold it for 55, no one could get it for less. And if you sold the 6 bottles at 55, that's $600 right there. And then you went and sold this bottle, they sell them for 90, you can actually sell that and get all of your money back. But then you wouldn't have any product. So that's not a good thing. But let me tell you what the company expects you to do if you do this, okay? They said, this is the only company I've ever seen do this. You've got to order $200 a month of product to be fully commissionable. You want to get that 5% of all of that volume, right? You have to be fully commissionable. But they said, remember those little preferred customers? Here's a guy who bought 40, 40, 40, and 40, right? And that's 160. They let you credit the people you enroll as preferred customers against that, and that leaves $40. And that's what you're responsible for buying every month, is be a product of the product. You take your pick, which one you want to buy, as long as your personally enrolled people, your preferred customers, and you equal that per month. You don't have to buy $200 worth of product. So how neat is that? Did you ever see anybody in direct sales that had a garage full of stuff that they couldn't sell, didn't sell, and couldn't consume? That goes away with this. What if you got a preferred customer that wanted the skin cream and that? Well, that's $110. And then you got another one. Just 2 preferred customers. Is that not over $200? Yeah, now we're back to this. Just get 1 product per month of your choice. My wife and I don't have that luxury. We got 2 cats, a dog, and 3 kids, right? So it's like, how many preferred customers did we say? We had 22 that we enrolled. I only need to buy 1 product, but I can never get away. But then again, they're paying me pretty good, so I don't care that I have to buy the product because it's still free. But if you can get that analogy, right? Does that make sense to you? So, let me show you another way you can get the money back. I didn't tell you the best part. It's my favorite part. Remember I told you it was a business of duplication? We told you you need to go out and get a couple of preferred customers? What if you find somebody who's like-minded, who wants to do what you want to do? The company says, oh, you got a distributor who's going to enroll. We're going to pay you $210 for the first one, $210 for the second one, $210 for the third one. Does that not equal $630? Now you just made $500 or $600 because you sold your product. You just got back to $630, but they'll continue to do that after the third one. It's $260 for every distributor you bring in to infinity. And that's not the best way that I get paid, because I get paid on the volume. There's generational pay, there's matching bonus pay, there's a lot of different ways you can get paid. So, do you see that this has got 0 overhead involved in it? Okay, a way to be very lucrative. Remember I said it's the best compensation plan? And, well, the first week, my wife and I got 3 business partners who wanted to do what we wanted to do. Our product was free. But then we kept on telling people who watched the video, and they said, well, I want the product too, but you got a bottle until my stuff comes in. And I said, sure, and when yours comes in, you give me my bottle back. And by the end of the second week, we didn't have any product left, except for the ones that were open that we were taking, waiting for everybody to get their products to pay us back. See, so it really does march off the shelves. My wife's got a day spa. We don't sell it. We've never sold a bottle of this stuff. We share the story and make people be eligible to get it wholesale from the company the same way that we do. You get a lot of happy campers because people who start on this, when they understand the value, they don't want to come off. And most of the people who see this turn out to be one of 2 ways. Yeah, I want to be a consumer, or I want to share in this business opportunity. You don't want to be the third one. The third one was, what just happened? It went by, and they missed the boat, Microsoft 1984. So that's the compensation plan. I do want to say this. Is what you're doing right now adding to your retirement? If you didn't go to work tomorrow, would you still get paid? I want you to think about that. Because people like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Donald Trump, who's one of the most wealthy guys? No, not Murdoch. Tom, help me. He actually owns 3 MLM companies, Warren Buffett. I know it would come to me. Okay? And Donald Trump said if he lost everything tomorrow, he'd find a good network company and he would invest in it. Because it's the only way that you can get thousands of people working for you to make you money when you don't go to work that day. And this is true. So, successful people overcome obstacles, okay, to seize opportunities. Michael Jordan, we all know who Michael Jordan was. When the game's on the line, they give him the ball. They said, are you nervous to take a shot? Game's on the line. You got the ball. Are you nervous to take a shot? He said, I never made a shot. I didn't take. Did he miss some? Yeah. But he never made one he didn't take. Got to have your line in the water to catch that fish, right? So I thank you for your time. I don't want to run over. I will stay to answer any questions. But this is the LifeVantage opportunity. It's really an opportunity, and here's the deal, guys. We improve the quality of other people's lives through a quality product and improving their finances so they can go out and do the same for others. I don't know who you know. It's not up for me to decide. So when I go to bed at night, my wife can tell you story after story. I talk to people on planes and everything. I'm really enthusiastic because I'm passionate about this because I'm excited about it all the time. But when I lay my head on the pillow at night, I say to myself, did I do the right thing? Did I talk to everybody? I go out and talk to the Bright House guy in the street, the guy where I pay the water bill. Why? What if one of those guys, I could have touched his life? What if I would have made a difference there? What if I didn't care and share to that one person? And forget about them being in my business. What if they desperately needed this product? If it does what these scientists says it does, is it up to you to decide who doesn't get this? Because it's not up to me. So I'll leave you with that thought.